They always sell out when they come to the UK, just like you've sold out putting them third in the list. They are okay, though.
What's wrong with that?
Second.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what's first. Maybe we just end it here. Hello and welcome back to the Man Overboard podcast. We're both huge pop punk fans.
Huge.
So today we're going to give you the top 10 pop punk albums of all time.
We are. And both of our lists are curated separately, and we don't know what is on each other's lists yet. So it's going to be as entertaining for us as it will be for people listening.
So enjoy and try not to hate us for it because...
Try not to.
In fact, you can't because this is the ultimate list.
This is the definitive list of the top 10 pop punk.
If you don't know much about pop punk, you're going to discover some bangers as well because we've got a couple of the best tracks from each album to go over. So take a listen, maybe leave what you think is the best track in the comments from whatever album, but you'll discover some bangers as well. So I'm going to kick things off with my 10th best pop punk album of all time. It's an album by The Story So Far.
Oh, see, I figured, because we kind of spoke beforehand and said we're going to have a 50-50 split on albums. And I figured one of the albums you'd have that I didn't was The Story So Far.
Yeah, I wanted to throw in, obviously, a lot of the old school bands have got loads of pop punk albums that are legendary at this point. But I wanted to throw in some of the newer bands and ones that I think have had a bigger impact on the modern side of pop punk and some of the later stuff. So it is Proper Dose by The Story So Far. And to be honest, it's not even really their biggest album. And I think a lot of people would say, oh, well, why haven't you got one of their other albums there? But I think that it's their best, personally. Some highlights for me, there's a song called Upside Down, which Tim has heard me sing for the last 20 minutes building up to this and probably wondered what's he singing. Upside Down by The Story So Far. If you don't know, get to know. You've got Proper Dose as well, title track, but absolute belter. And then you've got Take Me As You Please, which is it's not acoustic. It's a little acoustic. It's just like a more chill, mellow pop punk song. You know, one for one of those rainy days where you're feeling a little bit sad and you're
a little bit emo,
a bit sorry for yourself. But yeah, this album is unbelievable. And I think in the last decade, I would give it one of the top 3 pop punk albums of the last decade.
Yeah, there's been a lot of bands that have come onto the scene that have kind of changed up the pop punk sound. And, you know, what people were used to in maybe like late 90s, more like early 2000s, has completely changed now. And you kind of see people like collaborating with all sorts of like emo rap and stuff. So it has gone more into the feel side of things. Whereas I feel like early pop punk was really energetic and like, oh yeah, come on, let's go.
And one of the weirdest things about this album is it came out back in 2016 or 2017 and they've not done another album since. Like, they've remained a band and they've recently released a single for the first time in a long time, but it's the last Story So Far album. So boys, I think there's another one in the works.
It's got to be.
And I'm praying for it. But if you don't know about them and you like pop punk, go check them out.
So has that been 7 to 8 years since they've released an album?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, it's hard being a fucking Story So Far fan, isn't it? Jesus.
It's
okay, right. My number 10 pick, and I don't think you'll have this one. It is The Young and the Hopeless by Good Charlotte.
Oh. Which album is that?
It's the one with the anthem straight out the fucking gates. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, now I know that song.
Yeah.
It was between that and another one for me, and I chose the other one.
Oh, so you have got them on there?
No, I haven't got this.
No, but you've got...
No, I've not got Good Charlotte. I'm saying in my head it was like I either pick this album or the Good Charlotte album.
I'm interested now.
So I picked the other one.
Top tracks on here for me personally are... I mean, it's their top tracks overall, really. Like, these are the biggest songs that I think people know of Good Charlotte. We've got the anthem. Everybody fucking knows that. We've got Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Again, everybody knows that. Exactly. An absolute classic, cult classic. Everybody knows it. And then you've got Girls and Boys. Girls don't like boys. Girls like cars and money.
Bangers.
All bangers. Certified banger after banger after banger. And that album, I think, was... maybe one of the first pop punk albums I actually properly listened to.
Was it?
Like back in the day.
Mad.
Yeah.
Good Charlotte, that album specifically is belting, but other than that, I don't really...
Yeah, they kind of fell off a little bit. They've got some other tracks. They've got some gems hidden in the more recent albums, but I think that album was their, like, masterpiece. That was their... whatever you call it, that was it.
It was belting, and I think it does deserve a place on the list, despite the fact it's not on mine. I'm not upset with it. I'll jump into my number 9.
We're going to get to a point where we're going to really... I'm kind of hoping we don't contest each other's opinions.
Do you know what? I don't think you'll actually contest any of mine. I think you'll agree with it.
I think with this genre, we're both pretty safe because we both kind of like the same realm of stuff. I think if we split into different genres, we might see something else.
Yeah, sneak peek. I think we're going to do a bit of a series here where we do like top 10 rap albums, top 10 indie albums, heavy metal, etc. So I think on those ones we'll see a bit more of a difference, most definitely. But I've got Enema of State.
Oh, in at number 8.
No, number 9.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's quite low down on my list.
It is very low down.
And I think it could be higher potentially. And I think maybe there's quite a lot of personal influence going on with this one because I just prefer other albums by Blink-182. But on this album, Aliens Exist is my favourite song. I don't know whether that's because we know about Tom DeLonge and the fact that he really does think aliens exist and has next to proven it at this point. But I think that's about you got Adam's song as well, which I really like. I think that's a fantastic tune. And then What's My Age Again?
Absolute bangers.
And Nobody Likes Me.
Bangers. And nobody likes you. Nobody does like you. I mean, I don't know if that's to do with the Blink album, but...
What isn't that? What's My Age Again? Nobody likes you when you're 23. Yeah. And I am 23. That's why I said nobody likes me.
Yeah, I was supposed to make that link one. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Dead comedy. But no, ultimate...
Dead comedy.
Ultimate tier Blink album, and yeah, I don't really have much more to say on it. It's just about... And it's got a really iconic cover. The cover with the nurse... I've seen that a million times. People still dress up as that for Halloween nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's definitely stood the test of time. What have you got at number 9?
In at number 9, we've got, have a guess. It's Enema of the State.
Is it really?
by Blink-182. Yeah.
There's no way.
Top song, Aliens Exist. That's the first song I put in there.
Did I say Enema of... I don't think I got the title right.
I don't know
anyway.
what you said.
It doesn't matter. Aliens Exist is your top track.
Yeah. And then we've got Going Away to College.
I do like that.
I love that. And Dysentery Gary. Because when that fucking comes on live, it fucking knocks your socks off. And
I'm so buzzing that we've matched.
I know, right? And then in the honourable mentions, All the Small Things, What's My Age Again, Adam's song. Didn't really want to put them on the top songs because they're too obvious.
Yeah.
But then Dumpweed.
Oh, Dumpweed.
Which is the intro and arguably the most amazing pop punk intro ever.
The thing is, we can both sit and get excited.
I get goosebumps.
We can both sit and get excited about this album. Like every track for us is probably worthy of a spot.
Yeah.
So but as if we both had the same one. Number 8.
Number eight. This is where
I've got a shout here that I think you definitely will not have.
Okay.
And it's one that I only discovered probably in like 2020 when I was really diving into music and stuff in lockdowns. And it's called Through Being Cool by Saves the Day.
Oh, okay.
So I really got into this album. It was actually a recommendation from a friend. I think maybe not as a whole album, but there's a couple tracks on there that I think epitomise pop punk and should be bigger than they are and should have done better. And those tracks are Shoulder to the Wheel, it's like really high end. All of them are really high energy pop punk songs. Rock's Tonic Juice Magic. Really weird title. I don't know how I meant to say that. Rock's Tonic Juice Magic. Anyway, banger. And then you've got Holly Knox, Forget Me Nots. That's one title, by the way. That's
interesting names. They're kind of going for like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
names.
I kind of see these as like the Midwest emo of pop punk before it really became like its own little genre, like you see nowadays. But yeah, Through Being Cool by Saves the Day is my number 8, and I think it's a massively underrated pop punk album. I really like it.
Fair enough. I need to give it a listen, I think. I've not even really listened to that band, period.
There you go.
Never mind that album, so I'll give it a go.
What have you got?
Number 8. Now, this is where we start to see a little bit of, what's going on here? Number 8 for me is Homesick by A Day to Remember. Right.
I knew I wouldn't have them.
See, this is it. And I wasn't sure if you were going to tell me this is not pop punk. But this album is pop punk with breakdowns. That's what it is.
I personally would say that A Day to Remember is probably not pop punk.
I mean, it is pop punk. I mean,
I'll take your word for it.
Have you
I've not. That's what I mean. I've just heard like the top tracks on Spotify, and it's always been a bit too heavy for pop.
It's
punk.
so the choruses, the verses, and stuff like that are usually pop punky, and then they've got the breakdowns included in it, which just makes it this massive mash of noise, and it sounds so fucking good. Anyway, that album is seminal for me. Like, that's such a good album. And the top tracks off it for me are Downfall of Us All, which you might know.
I couldn't name one A Day to Remember song. I'm sorry.
Okay. And then these are the ones where I have to read the names out. I'm Made of Wax, Larry. What Are You Made Of? That's a very good track. And that is a reference to Night at the Museum.
Wow.
Robin Williams says it. You know when he's the president? Yeah,
That's
he says it to
I
Larry.
kind of rate that in a weird way.
And then my last top track would be Mr. Highway's Thinking About the End, which is one of the best, if not most well-known breakdowns ever in Disrespect Your Surroundings.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
Yeah. That's that track.
And you're saying that's pop punk?
Yeah. Have you listened to the track?
That is not pop punk.
Have you listened to the album? Have you listened to the band?
A little bit, but that particular
That's like
track,
me saying they're not pop punk.
Yeah, but that's like Disrespect Your Surroundings.
At the end,
that's
the
not
breakdown
pop punk,
at the end. The breakdown. It's pop punk with breakdowns.
I'm going to break down if you keep saying that it's pop
It's
punk.
pop punk with breakdowns.
Right, you can have
A Day
it.
to Remember is pop punk with breakdowns.
We'll put this on the internet and see if the masses agree with you, because
I'm going to break down.
number 8. No, number 7.
Seven, no.
I don't know how I did that. Number 7, I've got one maybe you'll have. Depends what vibe you were feeling on the day.
Since I was feeling, yeah.
It is Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday. No? I think this is, again, an ultimate.
It was a contender.
You could have picked maybe, I don't know what the other one's called, the other Taking Back Sunday album. It's like Red instead.
Yeah.
You could
This is
have
the one with the highway
on. Yeah, you could have had that. But some ultimate pop punk bangers. There's No I in Team. Big song.
Banger.
Cute Without the E.
Amazing banger. Top level banger. That kind of left the realm of pop punk.
Yeah.
And it just became its own
I
fucking
think,
thing.
let me just name the last song. And then the last song is You Saw Last Summer, which is another but I think Taking Back Sunday kind of had their own individual lane within pop punk for a little while. Like they just kind of exploded, were massive, and then floated away. And I don't know really what happened.
To me, it felt like they were heavily influenced by kind of like Jimmy Eat World style.
Yeah, but it felt like they were very of the moment.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Super Kerrang MTV era, like pop punky, and then just flooded.
Just disappeared.
Yeah, but that album, and there is another Taking Back Sunday one that I considered instead of this, but this Tell All Your Friends deserves a place on the list. In my opinion.
I think they deserve a place on the list,
Yeah.
regardless, as a band. Like,
Just for that period, that couple of year period where they were on top
and
of the
I mean,
game.
they were in a sense some of the forefathers of the sound that we have nowadays.
Yeah, it's true
by
actually.
doing that.
They are very, again, it kind of goes more towards that Midwest emo-y vibe.
Yeah.
But what is your number 7, Young Timothy?
So this is in here, and people will have a problem with it being put so low down, but I don't care. And it is American Idiot by Green Day. So that's going in at number 7 for me. And for the top tracks, we're going with the first, second, and third track off the album. And there's not many albums in which you can say the first 3 tracks are like the best.
You're saying it has a really strong start then?
Yeah, and maybe not such a strong ending, yeah. So we got American Idiot, first track, banger, straight in, knocks your fucking jaw off when you start listening to that. Jesus Suburbia, second track, straight into another banger once American Idiot finishes. And then third track, which is technically third and fourth track, is Holiday and Boulevard.
Yeah, you can't debate that.
Those 3 songs being the first 3 songs on an album is unfair, in my opinion.
And I think those 3 songs, to me, epitomise that, like, it wasn't the second coming of pop punk, but Green Day had faded away a little bit, and those pairing of songs or trio of songs blew them back up.
Yeah.
And that was like their massive commercial success.
Yeah.
Just in those songs at the start of that album.
Yeah, because that was kind of when they decided, right, let's aim for the masses now. Let's see what we can do. And then they put the production into it. Because I remember very vividly the American Idiot music video with the green flag.
Yeah, I
and they just
remember
stood in front of it. Such a simple video, but very effective.
I remember seeing that as a kid all the time. A lot of people love the new Green Day album. What did you think of that?
No.
I just thought it was much better than the previous
Fucking
one.
hell. Yeah,
But
father of whatever it was.
I reckon me headbutting this table would sound better than that. Father of all, yeah.
That was it,
The new, what's the new one called? I don't know, but it's
top of my
better,
head,
but
yeah.
it's still not amazing for me.
It's not the Green Day we wanted.
No, it's just okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to number 6.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't think you'll have this one. I don't think you'll have even thought to have added this band, to be honest.
Oh, okay, I'm interested now, but you've done like 2 so far where I've gone, oh, yeah, I didn't even think of them.
But I think you'll agree with them having a place on the list, and it's Nothing Personal by All Time Low.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's a great album. That is a great album.
I thought you might not like that one for some reason.
No, yeah.
I absolutely love All Time Low. And I think out of all the pop punk bands, other than probably Blink for me, they're one of the only ones that I think have like 4 or 5 bangers on every album. Like I can go through and just queue like 30 all-time low songs, even off some of the last couple of albums, which is I thought they might have faded out by now, but they've stayed relatively relevant.
They do have a good writing force behind them.
Yeah, so I have nothing but respect for them. And off this album, my favourite songs are Weightless.
Of course.
Yeah, pop punk classic. And then you've got Stellar.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big banger as well. And the last one's maybe a little bit more poppy than those two, but it's Lost in Stereo.
Lost in Stereo. Yeah, but that's a fucking...
Makes you want to dance, doesn't it?
It's fucking ace, that,
and I just thought All Time Low needed a spot. And I actually went and listened to like 2 of the different albums in the build-up to this, and I thought, no, I've got to pick this one.
Which albums did you listen to?
The other one was the one with like a more of a cartoon and shit blowing up on the front of it.
My
is it
favorite,
like Don't Panic?
Don't Panic is my favorite All Time Low album. And I was just about to say, All Time Low aren't on my list, or spoilers, but if I were to add them, it would be Don't Panic.
It was between those two.
And Don't Panic, the reason why I'd add Don't Panic is because, you know, when you had an iPod when you were younger and you had like 10 albums, Don't Panic was one of them albums. So I know it top to bottom, like every track, and it is phenomenal. And then they did Don't Panic Extended or something, where they threw a couple of extra tracks in, and that was even good as well.
They're just great. They're a great band, and it was weird. I don't know if I think Dia Maria wasn't on that album, and everyone would have expected that to probably make a shout. But I don't mind that song. But I think All Time Low have a much better discography than that one track.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, let's say Good Charlotte, I don't think they actually have much better than the anthem.
No.
So it's
not
a
really
weird
many. Yeah. With All Time Low, I think they've got a wide range of songs that could put them out.
Number 6.
Number
Tim.
6. Okay, here we go.
What is your 6th best pop punk album?
My 6th best pop punk album of all time is A Fever You Can't Sweat Out by Panic at the Disco. Now, I don't think you'll have a Panic album in your list.
Do you know,
no, that face is telling me that you might.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I deeply considered it.
Did you?
But I actually remembered something that you said on a previous podcast.
Okay.
Where you said, Panic at the Disco are actually pop punk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, I can't, because he's just going to say that again. And then you've put them in.
I put them in, yeah, because this album's pop punk.
All right, yeah, just the rest of them weren't.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, I thought about it. But
Yeah. So this is A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, and this is my favourite Panic at the Disco album. There are a couple of other ones, like Vices and Virtues and stuff like that. I really like them, but this one stood out. So we're going to go with... These song titles are nuts, by the way. These are even worse than A Day to Remember. So we've got The Only Difference Between Martyrdom and Suicide is Press Coverage. That's an absolute banger, fucking straight out the gates. Lying is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off. That's also a fucking banger, straight up banger. And then we've got the classic, the anthem, the big boy, I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. And I thought, is it a bit of a cop-out? But no, it's not, because that doesn't matter what we're going to say about it. That's a phenomenal track. It is just a phenomenal track.
And I know we spoke about it before, but this list has kind of made me realise how many, like, pop punk tracks there are that I would class as iconic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I think most people would know them.
Going through them, I'm like, holy shit, there's so many bangers here. I got a couple of honourable mentions on there, which is, but it's better if you do. Bill God, Then We'll Talk. And then There's a Good Reason These Tables Are Numbered, Honey. You just haven't thought of it yet.
Do you think Brendan Urie gives like mad fruity vibes for someone that's straight?
Yeah,
like not in a negative. Yeah. I am literally bisexual.
He kind of gives off. You're gonna hate me saying this. Who do you think he reminds me of a little bit?
My brother,
Matty Healy. Your brother? What the fuck?
Well, Josh is a bit fruity. Sorry, anyone that didn't know. Anyway, yeah, no, maybe Matty Healy.
Matty Healy. He gives me the frontman vibes that Matty Healy has of an arrogant arsehole. So you know. I wasn't giving him a big ups there. I was kind of
right. I think we should swiftly move on to number 5.
Also, if you dare have any mention of the 1975 in this fucking list, I will leave. I will leave.
Moving on to number 5 is an album I'm surprised you've not mentioned yet, and I think it's probably because it'll have a higher spot.
It's chocolate, but
and it is Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
At number 5.
Yeah.
So I love this album, and it reminds me of going to Slam Dunk Festival in the UK, getting really pissed when I was like 16, 17 and sneaking a bottle of whiskey in and watching them and just having a great... No, but it's like a pop punk memory.
No, I know, yeah. It's like... Ooh,
oh, yeah. No, but it was like a
having
very...
a fun time, yeah.
Top tracks for me are probably the ones you'd expect. The top one for me is actually Hear You Me.
Yeah.
I think that's the best song on there.
Great track.
Second is Sweetness. Really liked that one.
Love that.
And then last, I feel like I had to include The Middle
Yeah, it has to be in there.
Has to be in there.
Has to
But
be
I
in
could have included Bleed American itself because that is a banger. Maybe now on reflection, I should have done.
there. The opening track.
Yeah.
It's a fucking banger.
In fact, I probably would swap that. But anyway, they're the main tracks and they are all also bangers.
Interesting. Bleed American has an intro track of Bleed American, right? American Idiot has an intro track of American Idiot.
They love America.
And they're both massive bops. So if you're in a pop punk band and you want to release a bop, just put the word American in it.
Yeah, and if you're in an English pop punk band, just call it like English Crumpet or something.
That's a band name, that.
That could
That's
be a
not
band
fucking
name.
song name.
Yeah,
That's
it could be, though.
psychedelic porn crumpets, though, isn't there?
That's mad random. We're going to get demonetized. We're going to lose all of our earnings.
It's all gone. All of our earnings.
All zero of it. What have you got at number 5, Tim?
So, number 5, I'm going to have to swap it up now.
No, but if it was Bleed American, have Bleed American.
I can't.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Well, yeah, just say it then, and then we can just skip to number 4.
Okay, so Bleed American in at number 5 again, which is why when I went like, is it? Yeah, because I was like, of course it fucking is. Bleed American, first track banger, the middle, Sweetness, and then 3 honourable mentions here, which is a praise chorus.
Right, no, hold up. So we're meant to come up with a couple of the top tracks, and Tim's just picking 6 songs from each
These
album.
are honourable mentions, bro.
Yeah, but-
I couldn't not mention them.
Okay, continue.
I couldn't not.
You mention.
A praise chorus,
That is-
the Authority song, and Get It Faster. Oh, that is perhaps my favourite track on the whole album.
Yeah,
is Get It Faster.
Yeah, that is good
And
as
it's
well.
very underrated because when I went on the album, you can see all the listens. That was like one of the lowest listened to track. And I thought, that's fucking
Yeah,
criminal.
that would get on my playlist, so
Yeah.
I respect it.
Fantastic. Right. Let's move off Jimmy Eat World now and move on to number 4.
Are you going or am I?
You go.
I've been leading. So I've got Life's Not Out to Get You by Neck Deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wanted another more modern, influential pop punk album in here. And I think this is one of the pop punk albums that really got me into the genre as well. Or at least made me realise that there is still bands making this music. Because I kind of grew up in a household around Green Day and Blink and a bit of Panic and whatever. But then when I got a bit older, I went off that type of music. And then once like streaming and stuff came along, Neck Deep were one of the first pop punk bands that I listened to. And this album in particular has some huge tracks. Probably maybe not the ones that people would expect me to pick, but I'm going to go. My favourite song off Life's Not Out to Get You is Lime Street. It's a bit heavier than some of the other stuff.
In my head, it's not playing.
Lime Street.
Yeah.
Why would it?
What do you mean?
Do you know Neck Deep that well?
Yeah,
I didn't even know you really liked him.
Well, yeah.
Second, I've got December. Obviously, it's Neck Deep's, I think, second biggest song, but it is just a good sad boy pop punk song.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Gets you
up
in
there.
your feels. Perfect.
And then the last track from this album I've got is The Beach is for Lovers, Not Lonely Losers. In other words, don't go to the beach, Tim.
Oh, that's horrible.
It took you a minute, you laughed.
I know, yeah. I was like, oh, wait, hang on. That's a
Yeah.
solid diss right there.
That was quite good though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was so close for me because I actually like practically every Neck Deep album to the same level. But I think this one definitely had the most influence. Maybe doesn't have like the biggest track song. I think the next album does with In Bloom and a few others.
That's
But
the one with the punched face on it, isn't it?
no, that was the first album.
Oh, that's the first one. True.
Yeah, this is second. But yeah, Life's Not Out to Get You, Neck Deep, I would say is the best pop punk album of the last decade.
Bold claim.
I think it is.
Fair enough, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's the highest one on my list, so I've got to say that.
Yeah, out of recent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
True. Yeah. Oh, yeah, innit? Yeah, ruined it now.
What have you got at number 4, Tim?
Number 4 for me.
I think we might start to cross over at this point soon.
We're back in to a band we've already mentioned. It's Blink. We're in at Blink. We're going in with Neighbourhoods here. Neighbourhoods in at number 4.
No.
Yeah.
I love Neighbourhoods, but no.
What do you mean?
No.
What do you mean?
It's not the 4th best pop punk album ever.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it fucking is.
It's scraping calling it pop punk.
How's it scraping calling it pop punk?
Neighbourhoods, I would say, is more just a rock album.
But it's by a pop punk band.
Yeah, but I don't know, mate.
Of all the people I expected
No,
to
I
get
love it.
pedantic about Neighbourhoods by Blink 182, it wasn't you.
No, I love it as an album, but I just don't think that it's particularly a staple in the pop punk.
It's potentially one of my favourite albums
Same.
of all time.
Same, but I just don't think you can put it in that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put fucking half the shit I've said into the pop punk category, to be fair. You just said A Day to Remember wasn't pop punk.
Anyway, let's hear your neighbourhood's highlights so I can disagree with that as well.
Goes to the Dance Floor, first track, absolute banger. You can't disagree with this because any track I say, you'll go, oh yeah, that's good actually.
You'll be missing my favourite track.
Heart's All Gone. Travis goes fucking sicko mode on all the fills, fucking destroys it all. And then the best track on the album, in my opinion,
MH.
Kaleidoscope.
Oh, yeah,
Start banging away on my kaleidoscope.
I love the album. I think the album is, in my opinion, probably Blink's. I would maybe put it first in my own head because it was for the reminiscent value, but I know it's not the best album in my heart of hearts, so I won't put it there. But you didn't have After Midnight, and I think After Midnight is the best song on the album.
After Midnight is it? Yeah. That was a contender for the 3, but I didn't do any honourable mentions for this one because I thought, I'll leave it onto the 3.
I just don't think it should be in the pop punk genre as such. I think it's more just like a rock album.
Well, I disagree.
That's fine. And we'll move on to a real pop punk album now at number 3. We're getting into the top 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Here we go. This is these 3 albums have to be by 3 massive bands now. Like there's no room for any
fucking about.
Any fucking about, yeah.
We
pretty much, yeah.
And my 3rd best pop punk album of all time is the 1975 by the 1975.
That's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
That's a joke. That's a joke. I was looking here then. I was like, where the fuck's that written now? Fuck off.
I've actually got All Killer, No Filler by Sum 41.
Boom. There we go. Yeah, that's what we like to hear.
Pop punk
That's
album.
what we like to hear.
Belters on this album.
Belters.
Big tracks.
Belters.
You've got Fat Lip, which is iconic, unbelievable song. You've got In Too Deep. Iconic, unbelievable song. And then the one that I picked last, I don't think it's the 3rd biggest on this album. It's Pain for Pleasure.
Oh, true.
I just like it. I think it's a really good song.
Yeah,
not quite as excitement.
Not quite.
Not quite. But also really iconic music videos in this era of Sum 41.
Yeah, the swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of. Whenever I think of Sum 41, it's the swimming pool.
Yeah, that gives me proper... Sum 41 gives me proper American Pie vibes.
Yeah. Proper gives you kind of like the freedom vibes. You know what I mean? Because they're just fucking about doing whatever the fuck they want to do.
Also, shout out to Sum 41 because I remember watching Reading Festival a couple of years back, and they came out with Mike Shinoda and did a Linkin Park track.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube recently.
That was a legendary moment.
Yeah,
Sum 41 are legends, Linkin Park are legends.
What song did it? Was it In the End or something?
I'm not sure.
It was a Linkin Park.
It was one of the big
song,
ones.
wasn't it?
It was one of the big. Maybe Numb.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, so Tim, what is your 3rd best pop punk album of all time?
Okay, so now that you've said what you've said, I'm really scared to even present you with any of these options because I feel like you've gone down the route of these are solidified the best globally, but you've also included opinion. So when I gave my opinion on what the 4th best one and you got so upset about it.
No, you do you.
Now.
This is
3rd one coming in now. You ready? Hangover You Don't Deserve by Bowling for Soup. Come on now. We got 3 fucking giant tracks on that. I don't want to hear a word from you. What's wrong with that face?
No, you just carry on, mate.
Top 3 tracks. Almost. Everybody knows Almost. 1985. Everybody knows 1985. Ohio, Come Back to Texas. Maybe not everybody knows that one. No. But those 3 tracks, fucking phenomenal. And in terms of influence, they probably didn't have that much influence on the scene as a whole. But you can't deny that the tracks on that album are seminal.
Yeah. Bowling for Soup have got some good songs, and they've got a very dedicated fan base.
They do. I'm one of them.
Yeah, they always sell out when they come to the UK, just like you've sold out putting them 3rd in the list. They are okay, though.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong? What is the issue with that?
Nah, it's fine.
Oh, fuck, you're the worst. Go on. I don't want to hear any more opinions.
not. I'm actually not even really hating. It's just wild to have them 3rd. 3rd is way too high for any Bowling for Soup project.
So you have got a problem. So you are hating, is what you're saying right now.
It's not me hating. It's me stating a fact.
All right, okay. By the way, I had to hastily, just for clarity, order these into 10 because I had them all in random order. So I'm just going to clarify that this
see, that's kind of you saying, yeah, maybe they shouldn't be 3rd.
No, it's not.
Don't try backtrack and then unback. All right, anyway.
Top two.
Two.
This is second. This is the second best pop punk album ever.
Everyone would argue this should be first, I think, and it's Dookie by Green Day.
Oh, I didn't even include that on my list.
Not at all.
Not at all.
What?
It's not in there.
It's my only Green Day album.
It's not in there.
This Dookie was like the album that set
started
up pop punk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Bro, how have you not got Dookie in the list?
Didn't put it in there.
Are you lying?
No.
You must be lying.
I'm not lying.
So you're telling me you've got Bowling for Soup in your list and you don't have Dookie?
That's right.
Nah, you must be capping.
I'm not capping.
Oh,
I'm not
mate.
capping. Let me double check, but I don't think I'm capping.
No.
I'm pretty sure I'm not capping.
You should not have a music podcast.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's 2. There's 2 left. And neither of them are Green Day or Blink or any of those bands. They're 2 bands. One of them you're going to hate. You're going to really hate me saying one of these bands.
What is going on here?
You're going to really fucking hate this. I thought we weren't going to have any issues on this one.
Dookie has got...
This is looking terrible for any future genres.
Dookie has got When I Come Around. I keep saying unbelievable.
No, I'm not saying... I'm not denying you.
I'm baffled by you
I'm
right
not
now.
denying you. I'm not saying it shouldn't be up there. It is number 1. It just is, categorically. So I can't be the little fucking whiny bastard who comes along to into the top 10, and it's the top 10 list that Kerrang gave every year for the last 10 years.
No, but that hasn't been my list.
No,
There's
know,
the
but
couple,
Dookie.
the top... Dookie.
Yeah, but Dookie, yeah.
Yeah, it should be in there.
It should be.
Just because it's in other lists doesn't mean it's not valid.
Well, no, it's not. That doesn't mean it's not valid. I just thought I'd try and swap it up a little bit.
All right. Well, anyway, it's got Basket Case, When I Come Around, and She are my 3 favourite tracks from it. It is the album that really booted off pop punk.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is.
Just fun. It's good from top to bottom. They've remastered it like 3 times since then. Everyone knows a couple tracks off it. And I think a lot of older people, maybe a generation past me, would class that as one of their, like, it's the most memorable album growing up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The album cover as well. Fantastic album cover. Stand the time of
What have
ages.
you got second, Tim?
I don't know anymore, bro. I don't know, but it's not fucking Dookie. Second is Dookie by Green Day. It's not. It's not even close.
What is it?
Americana, The Offspring. I knew it. We were going to get to this point. It was going to happen. Wait till you hear number 1. Oh, wait till you hear number 1, bro.
Do you know what, though? If you had... This is my problem with you, right? If you had The Offspring and Bowling for Soup between, like, 10th and 5th, I'd understand. They're not this high, ever.
It's factual and it's opinions. So it's a little bit of both for me. And I don't give a fuck what anybody out there thinks. These are my top 10 pop punk albums of all time.
I'm not here. Anyway.
I don't give a shit.
What are your favourite songs?
Fuck you. So, top songs off Americana by The Offspring. Why Don't You Get a Job? Yeah, okay. Pretty Fly for a white guy.
It's a bit racist, but go off.
You know that one, right?
Yeah, I do. The Offspring are good.
The Kids Aren't All Right. Again.
Any kids listening to this podcast won't be when they listen to your
Honourable
top 3
mention,
albums.
Staring at the Sun, Americana, Walla Walla, and No Breaks. I don't give a fuck what you have to say about
it is
this.
a good album, and I can appreciate it being in the top 10, just not second. Second.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what's first. Maybe we just end it here.
I think it...
Thanks for listening.
The thing is, you'll hear first, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, yeah, that deserves a spot in maybe the top 5, but it shouldn't be number 1. And I know you're going to say it, and it's going to happen.
My number 1 pop punk album, the best pop punk album of all time is... Are you ready? I need a drum roll.
That was just a pat on the table.
No, don't actually, because it's just going to echo the mics. Yeah, it's deafening people. It is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182.
Okay. I can't be too mad at that.
I can appreciate maybe Dookie could have been number 1. Maybe people will say Enema should have been number 1. Those are the only 2 I'll hear an argument for, really.
Enema.
Enema.
Not an enema.
I said Enema.
You said enema. Yeah, enema.
Enema. Sorry. English, innit?
God, you look actually hurt. I didn't mean to offend you.
No, it's because I went to
sorry.
read the top tracks.
Fucked it.
The top tracks for me off of this album are First Date. Just, I don't really we don't need to go into each song in detail. I feel like I need to say something after each one.
Yeah,
but First Date, Every Time I Look for You.
Sun goes down. The sun goes down every time.
It does actually. and Stay Together for the Kids.
Those are three very good choices. I'd rate that. That's some
Stay
good
Together for the
choices.
Kids. I remember having on my iPod Touch when I was like 13, and I think it must have been like actually a year or two after my parents broke up. Not that was ever a big problem for me.
Yeah.
But like when I was like 13, I listened to that song and I was like,
You get proper emo and be like, this is about me.
And then I was
This is
like,
how
nah, I don't actually really care, but that is a good song.
Yeah.
So that's the best.
That's a phenomenal 3 picks on that album because there's the whole album you could choose from, every song. And I think those 3 songs, strong songs.
Okay,
Fair play.
I like how you try to be nice to me before you give you number one.
No, it's not even that.
You just
Basically,
agree.
what I'm doing is yours is now the list of actual pop punk albums. Mine is now a dumpster fire because in at number 1, you'll agree. Like I say, you'll go, okay, I'm not that mad, but I am mad because that's not a number 1 album. That's not even number 3. It is. Does this look infected by Sum 41?
I can hear it.
So the reason why I chose this album is because it was a little bit earlier. You know, it's coming out a little bit early. It's a little bit of a formation thing, and it's also one of my. I mean, about 3 albums in this list are, but this is one of my favorite albums, perhaps ever as well. So, top 3 songs we're gonna go with the House song, which is the first song, straight in with a banger. Still Waiting, fucking phenomenal. And then this is a rogue one, and it's my choice, and it's Rain in Pain, Heavy Metal Jamboree, and that is that one track they did on that album with Rain in, you know when they did that one really heavy track, it was that track, and that was that album. Love that album. Think it's phenomenal. Out of all the pop punk albums I've ever listened to, that's my favorite.
Do you know I'm not too offended by it? I had
Thank
Sum
you.
41 in my
Thank
top
you.
3.
Yeah.
I could have picked that album as well. I think out of your horrendous shouts, that's not a horrendous shout. It's slightly sus, but it's not horrendous.
Right, okay.
So
Where would you put, so genuinely, where would you put like Offspring and stuff like that? I know you wouldn't put them in your list, but if you were going to.
no, I wouldn't put them in my list because it's down to personal preference as well. But if they were in, I'd probably put them I could have them 7th, 8th.
True. Yeah, fair enough.
I get them being in there.
Yeah.
Like Bowling for Soup, I'd have 30th.
Yeah.
But Offspring, I understand.
30th.
I think that's respectable though.
Really?
Yeah.
What, out of all the pop punk bands ever?
Yeah.
Put them 30th.
No, albums.
Oh, you mean album out of every album, every
maybe
project
30th.
that's been released?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
No, that's that. I don't think that's actually that low.
Yeah. No,
I'm
that's
saying
all
there's
right.
29 pop punk albums that I'd rather listen to than Bowling for Soup. I think that's
Sounds about right.
yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
That sounds about right.
I do have some honourable mentions though.
Ooh.
Do you have any or?
I was going to, but then I removed them.
Well, I do, and this is going to be your time to hit on me.
In fact, honorable mention for me would have been Dookie.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I purposefully just omitted it from the list because I thought that's obviously number 1.
My first honourable mention is the last pop punk album to get number 1 in America, and it is "Tickets to My Downfall" by Machine Gun Kelly.
Fucking shut up, man. Oh, you're putting that in your fucking an honourable mention.
Yeah, it's not top 10, but it's an honourable mention.
Doesn't deserve a fucking mention at all.
It does because.
Dishonourable mention.
Do you know how I see Tickets to My Downfall? It's a bit like influencer boxing.
How so?
Some people, real boxing fans, proper whine about it. But in reality, it's got thousands more people to watch boxing. People whined about Tickets to My Downfall, but it made everyone work out who Travis Barker was and listen to Blink.
Yeah, I suppose you're right there.
And
yeah, that's a fair point.
It's not actually.
Oh, I hate that point.
It's good
That's
though,
a
isn't
good
it?
point,
It's
yeah.
a good point. It's not actually a bad album either. His newer one, his mainstream Sellout, I think it was, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But Tickets to My Downfall is not a bad album. It is actually quite good. And out of the modern pop punk stuff, it's the one that's done the best, and it's brought a lot more eyes to the genre.
I mean, yeah, I can't deny the kind of cultural impact it had in terms of bringing fans in.
And maybe you don't like...
Maybe, no, not cultural impact. I think that's the wrong word. Just the societal impact
Yeah.
to get people into pop punk as a whole. Yeah.
So that's got to be in there for me. My second honourable mention, a band that neither of us have said actually, and many people may be surprised by this, but I think only really this album is pop punk.
The Ataris.
No.
No. Never
It
mind.
is Riot by Paramore.
Oh, yeah. Paramore were in my list with Riot as well. Yeah, that was in my list. They got canned now. They
Yeah.
got canned for Bowling for Soup.
I couldn't quite fit him in the top 10.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a really good album.
Yeah, I think Riot has a, like a definite place in a lot of people's hearts. Like, and I also think
So
it's
is it
because
Decode or something? What's the next album called? The next Paramore one?
I think it's Decode.
Is it Decode? That one as well is
The
quite
one with
good.
the butterfly?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the stamps on it, whatever the fuck it is, yeah. But I think with Riot, all of the tracks you had on there, and with it being a female-fronted pop punk band, it was so different, but still so fucking amazing. And Hayley Williams' voice just fit the genre so well that, like, I think everybody has heard that album.
Yeah.
Or at least the top 3 tracks. You know what I mean? Like, anybody that's even remotely into this shit, maybe not even into pop punk. Taylor Swift fans have probably listened to that album.
Everyone knows that album.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It was just, and it could have probably got in the top 10 but I kind of was like,
yeah.
No. And I've got one more shout, and it is Blink-182. Blink-182.
Oh, okay.
Self-titled.
Okay.
I just think it's a belter. It's got
Violence.
It's got a Miss You.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, of course it does.
Which,
yeah.
That song, now, if I'm with like a group of friends who don't even like pop punk, I can go, "Where are you?" and all of them know that track. I think it's one of my favourite Blink songs. And this album, like for me, this is what maybe I cheated a little bit on this list, because Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is my favourite Blink album of all time. But Enema isn't. I prefer this, and I prefer Neighbourhoods. But I just know, as in the scene, that.
Yeah. I mean, if I had gone down the same route, then my list would be entirely different.
No, but I wasn't just going, I was kind of 50-50 in it. Like, if I was just going down that route, I wouldn't have had The Story So Far Saves the Day on.
I can accept that out of a list of 10, if you would see a list of 10 published somewhere and Neighbourhoods was in at number 4, you'd be like, what the fuck? I get that.
Yeah.
So it was a rogue shout for me, but again, it's kind of half opinion, half what we think factually might be right. So that's me basically defending my bullshit claims that I've made throughout that.
Yeah, you've kind of backtracked on them, and I think you should have just stuck to your guns.
No, I haven't backtracked on them at all. I haven't backtracked on them
Just
at
say
all.
it right now, Bowling for Super shit.
They're not shit at all. I'm seeing them on Sunday with Less Than Jake. And I couldn't include Less Than Jake because they're your least favourite genre. And one day, in top 10 ska albums, you're going to have to fucking listen to them then, aren't you?
We're not doing top 10
Well, we're going to run out of
albums.
genres. What we're going to do then?
Yeah, but
Talk about music.
What 4 ska fans are going to listen to that?
Me and 3 others.
Nah, I don't know about ska, though.
Why? What's wrong with ska?
I'm not going into that again. We've spoke about how shit it is
I
many
just
times.
don't get how you can be into pop punk so heavily and not like ska. Shut the dog.
that was good, that.
That was good.
I hate my family. I'm going to kill them. I did that last time as well, something about killing someone.
My mum shut the dog. That's what it was.
That's what ska is like,
what it
ladies and
was.
gentlemen. I've run out of honourable
I'm
mentions.
scarred by your
Did
impression of ska.
Did you have any other honourable mentions? Maybe a band that you think should have made it and neither of us included?
Yeah, Bone for Soup, the Great Burrito Extortion Case. You should throw that one out there. That nearly got in that list. I've got a big fucking 24-inch by 24-inch poster album cover that's signed. Oh, it's fucking beautiful.
I want to jump in and say something on Neck Deep.
Go ahead.
Neck Deep's previous album to the new one was called All Distortions Are International.
Okay.
And that was massively disrespected, right? It was slightly more mainstream rock than their other albums. The evolution of a band, some may say.
Yeah, natural.
And the new one, which is their self-titled album, which came out a few weeks ago, is kind of them more going back to the roots, more pop punk. But I actually preferred the previous one before that. It feels like I watched a podcast with Ben, the frontman of Neck Deep, and it's clearly the direction that they're going in. It's not like forced or anything. But to me, it actually felt like a bit of a step backwards. It's like they did what they wanted, got loads of hate, so they've gone, no, we'll just do pop
Stay
punk.
in your lane kind of thing. They feel like they've got to go back to that.
And maybe that's not the case, because on that album, there was a few tracks you would class as pop punky, but I don't know. I don't know why All Distortions were international, or are international, got disrespected so much.
I think with them releasing the self-titled album, that's quite an important album. Like your band's self-titled album. I feel like it has to be your full sound. So maybe they've just touched back on what they originally came from to do the self-titled.
Maybe they
And
just want it to be
next album-
safer.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. And plus, they don't want to fuck over, potential sales of a self-titled because that's such a big deal.
Yeah, true. And they just got beat to the number 1 by Green Day.
What, by Green Day's new album?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'd
Imagine releasing it at the same... That
You
must be
wouldn't even
such a...
know.
No, that's what I mean. It's such a
Yeah.
fucking ball ache. That's the problem with a lot of these, like, rappers and stuff that do surprise drops. Because you got no idea, and then Eminem drops an album, and nobody else can fucking get in the charts.
Every other
then.
band that's been trying.
It don't fucking matter. And they've had 6 months of promotion for this album, and then a rapper comes along and goes, Vultures won. And fucks everything up. Although it didn't. We're not talking about that.
You know, one thing that annoyed me in music in the last couple of weeks, this really got on my nerves, actually. And I feel like maybe English people will understand this one more than American people, because Americans are used to it. Are used to this.
You were going to say Americans are useless?
No, they're used to this bullshit.
Right.
They probably won't appreciate it either, though, a lot of them.
Guns.
I stayed up in the UK to watch the Super Bowl until about 4:30 a.m.
You watch it on Nickelodeon or the real one? Because the
real
Nickelodeon one was fire.
That was mad. Yeah. But what annoyed me about the Super Bowl was every 30 seconds, they switched the camera to Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. We get it. She's there, she goes out with one of the players.
Do you know what I thought was happening at the Super Bowl? With all the press coverage of Taylor Swift being there, I thought she was fucking performing. It's Usher. Poor Usher.
Yeah.
He wasn't even there, but he didn't have to show up. It didn't matter.
Usher did the Super Bowl performance and Taylor Swift still got more airtime.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Unbelievable. And she got more media coverage. She got more press. Everything I saw was, will Taylor Swift be at the Super Bowl? And I'm like, well, if she's performing, she fucking better well be. I didn't realise they were just asking, is she going to go watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
Mental. Also, it was just... It's all I've seen since then as well. Did you see Kanye's Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah. I didn't think it was real. I saw it on Twitter. And I was like, no way. It says, I got shoes and... that's it. Yeah. Yeah. And then just...
That's it.
And did you see the returns on it, though?
Millions, wasn't
it? It fucking popped off. It did so well. And he dropped 10 million on it or something?
Yeah.
On the ad spot.
It made like 20 million on the day.
And the guy who was doing the production says, you spent all of the money on actually putting the advert on there, so we've got no production money left, so you're just going to have to record. So that's why I ended up just doing a fucking selfie video.
I don't know if that's
half of a
I think that they did that on purpose, and it worked because it got shared more than any other Super Bowl.
Because everyone was like, what the fuck?
Did you see in the Usher performance that when they were filming it and one guy just flew in the air? I'll put, if we put this out like in a clip or anything, I'll put it. There's a bit where a guy, he must be like part of the dancing crew, and there's like the video and everyone bouncing, and then one guy just goes, and no one knows if he's all right or what happened to him.
With what?
He just flew off.
No, you got to
No, like as if someone threw and was meant to catch him.
Oh,
you just saw him in the air like...
Oh, true. Fucking hell.
It was pretty weird. I don't know what happened.
I thought you meant on like strings or something.
Yeah.
Not literally flew away.
But to finish the episode, I do want to say, we mentioned lots of pop punk albums, and I think we should go over our full lists.
Oh, no.
From top to bottom.
Okay, yeah.
Bottom to top.
Bottom to top. Top to bottom. 10 to 1.
My top 10 pop punk albums of all time go like this. At number 10, you've got Proper Dose by The Story So Far. At number 9, you've got Enema of the State by Blink-182. 8, Through Being Cool by Saves the Day. 7, Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday. 6, Nothing Personal by All Time Low. 5, Bleed American by Jimmy Eat World. 4, Life's Not Out to Get You by Neck Deep. 3, All Killer No Filler by Sum 41. 2 is Dookie by Green Day. And in at number 1 is Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182.
Solid list. It's a solid list. Quick one on the last album. You know the little innuendo in that, don't you?
What?
The Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
No.
You not know that?
What is it?
Take off your pants and jacket.
Mad.
That's the joke. Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, take off your pants and jacket. Yeah.
I respect that.
That's good.
That's proper typical Blink.
Top 10 pop punk albums of all time.
Criminal Edition.
For me.
Criminal Edition.
For me. Number 10, The Young and the Hopeless, Good Charlotte. Number 9, Enema of the State, Blink-182. Number 8, Homesick, A Day to Remember. Number 7, American Idiot, Green Day. Number 6, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, Panic at the Disco. Number 5 is Bleed American, Jimmy Eat World. Number 4, Neighborhoods by Blink-182. Number 3, A Hangover You Don't Deserve, Ballin' for Soup. Number 2, Americana by The Offspring. And number 1, the all-time greatest pop punk album, Does This Look Infected, Sum 41.
Okay. I'm not even going to comment. But did you know sometimes that the bananas are actually in pajamas
Sometimes.
and they do run down the stairs?
On occasion, I have heard it's to be known to do. What? Yeah.
And also, Sex by the 1975 is a pop punk classic. I'll hear no hate. Thanks for listening.
Oh!